3 vitamins. That's it. 3. Everything else you're swallowing for your leg circulation, the multivitamins, the expensive blends, the bottles lined up on your counter, most of it is doing absolutely nothing. And I'm not guessing. After spending years reviewing the research on vascular health in adults over 60, I can tell you, your legs don't need 12 supplements. They need 3, specific ones, in specific forms. And if you're taking the wrong form of even one of them, you might as well be throwing your money in the trash. Now, you've heard the standard advice. Take a daily multivitamin, cover your bases. Most seniors are told that one little pill covers everything they need, including their circulation. However, a standard multivitamin contains roughly 20 milligrams of niacin. Research from the National Institutes of Health suggests you may need 10 to 25 times that amount, in a very specific form, to have any meaningful impact on blood flow to your legs. What you're getting in that daily pill is barely enough to avoid a deficiency. It is nowhere near enough to address what is actually happening inside your blood vessels after 60. And I need you to hear something before we go further. If you've been trusting that multivitamin, if you've been lining up those bottles every morning and believing you were doing the right thing, you were. You were doing what you were told. The problem was never your effort. The problem is that the supplement industry built those labels for a 30-year-old body. After 60, your body doesn't absorb the same way. It doesn't process the same way. And nobody put that on the bottle. Nobody updated the instructions for you. My name is Dr. David Collin. I'm a senior wellness researcher specializing in supplement safety and leg health for adults over 60. And I need to be clear about something. This is for educational purposes only. I'm not your personal physician. Before you change anything in your supplement routine, especially if you are on blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, or blood thinners, talk to your doctor first. That's not a disclaimer I'm reading off a card. That's me asking you to protect yourself, because what I'm about to share with you is powerful, and it needs to be used carefully. Now, the real enemy here isn't you. It's not your age. It's not even the vitamins themselves. The enemy is a system, an industry, that sells one-size-fits-all supplements with labels designed for maximum shelf appeal and minimum specificity. They put 20 milligrams of niacin in a multivitamin and call it complete. They list vitamin K without telling you which form. They add vitamin C as cheap as ascorbic acid and never mention that your body, after 60, may barely absorb it. That's the enemy, not malice, negligence. And your legs are paying the price. By the time I'm done today, you'll know exactly which 3 vitamins your legs actually need. The exact forms, the exact reasons each form matters. And you'll understand a single mechanism inside your body, after 60, that determines whether any of these vitamins actually reaches your legs at all. If that mechanism is broken, it doesn't matter what you swallow. And once you understand it, you'll know exactly why your current supplements aren't working, and what to do about it. Your doctor never told you this, but I will. The first vitamin your legs are starving for is one you've probably heard of, but almost certainly in the wrong form. Niacin, vitamin B3. Now, niacin comes in 2 major forms. There's the flushing form, nicotinic acid. That's the one that makes your skin feel warm for about 20 minutes after you take it. And then there's the non-flushing form, inositol hexanonicotonate. That's the one most people buy, because it's comfortable. No warmth, no redness, no sensation at all. And that's the problem. That comfortable form? Research suggests it does almost nothing for your leg circulation. Here's why. When you take the flushing form, nicotinic acid, your body triggers a process where your blood vessels physically open wider. The walls relax. More blood moves through. Your legs get what they've been missing. Think of it like a trickle, turning into a river. Your feet get cold when the blood is just trickling down. The flushing form of niacin opens the floodgates. That flush you feel, that warmth in your skin, that's not a side effect. That is the mechanism working. That is blood vessels responding. The non-flushing form skips that step. It doesn't trigger the same vessel opening response at the same intensity. So the vessel stays the same size, the blood flow stays the same, and your cold feet stay cold. Think of it like a locked door. The flushing form of niacin is the key. The non-flushing form looks like a key. Same shape, same label on the bottle. But the teeth are filed down. It slides in, it doesn't turn. After 60, everything changes, and most people aren't told why. Your blood vessels lose flexibility. The inner lining starts to weaken, and the signals your body sends to open those vessels, they slow down. Year after year. That process doesn't wait for you to notice it. It just happens, quietly, like a slow leak you don't find until the damage is done. Now here's where it gets serious. A 2024 clinical trial published in Nature Communications, conducted by researchers at Northwestern Medicine and the University of Florida, studied 90 patients with peripheral artery disease. That's the condition where blood flow to the legs is severely restricted. They gave one group a form of vitamin B3. After 6 months, that group increased their 6-minute walking distance by over 17 meters compared to placebo. And among those who took the supplement consistently, at least 75% of the time, the improvement jumped to over 31 meters. In plain English, people who could barely walk to their mailbox were walking further, with less pain in 6 months. 31 meters might not sound like much if you're 25, but if you're 68 and your legs burn after walking to the mailbox, 31 meters is the difference between making it to the end of the driveway and not. That's real. That's measured. That's published. And here's what the CDC reports. Approximately 6.5 million Americans aged 40 and older have peripheral artery disease, up to 20% of adults over 65, and many of them don't even know it. They just know their legs feel heavy. They just know their feet are cold. They just know something isn't right. I want to tell you about Robert. He's 71, lives outside of Columbus, Ohio. For almost 3 years, his wife noticed the same thing every evening. Robert would sit in his recliner after dinner and rub his calves. Not a massage, a grimace. His legs felt like sandbags by 6 o'clock. Heavy, tight, sometimes cold to the touch, even with socks on. He'd been to his doctor. He'd been told it was just age. He'd bought a circulation supplement from a pharmacy chain, $52 a month. It had niacin in it, the non-flushing kind. He took it every day for 14 months. Nothing changed. Not one thing. When Robert finally switched to the flushing form of niacin, nicotinic acid, taken with his evening meal, the way the research supports, within 3 weeks, his wife noticed first. She said his feet were warm when they got into bed. Warm. For the first time in 2 years, he told his daughter on the phone, "I didn't think a vitamin could do that. I thought it was just getting old." It wasn't. It was the wrong form. And if that sounds like something that could happen for you, it can. What happened for Robert wasn't luck. It wasn't a miracle. It was the right form of the right vitamin reaching the right place. That's it. And that's available to you. So now you understand the first vitamin. You understand why the form matters. You understand what the flushing form actually does inside your blood vessels, and why the comfortable form does almost nothing for your legs. But here's the part almost nobody connects. There's a reason your blood vessels are stiff in the first place, and it has nothing to do with niacin. It has to do with a vitamin most seniors have never even heard of, and a protein inside your arteries that's been sitting dormant for years. And it changes everything about how you understand your leg circulation. The second vitamin your legs need is vitamin K2. Not K1, not the vitamin K you get from leafy greens. K2. and specifically the MK7 form, menaquinone 7. Here's why this matters. After 60, calcium starts behaving badly in your body. It's supposed to go to your bones. That's where you need it. But as you age, a growing percentage of that calcium starts depositing inside the walls of your arteries instead. It builds up, layer by layer. Your artery walls, the ones that are supposed to flex and pulse and move blood smoothly through your legs, start hardening. Think of a brand new garden hose. Flexible, bends easily, handles pressure perfectly. Now think of that same hose left out in the sun for 10 years. Try to bend it. It cracks. It barely moves. That's what calcium does to your arteries over time. And here's the thing. Your body actually has a built-in defense against this, a protein called matrix GLA protein. Think of it as a cleanup crew that works the night shift inside your arteries. Every night, when this protein is activated, it pulls rogue calcium deposits off your artery walls, brick by brick, and sends them back to your bones where they belong. Your arteries stay softer, more flexible, more alive. But this cleanup crew needs a specific key to wake up and start working. That key is vitamin K2. Without K2, the crew sits there, doing nothing, dormant, and the calcium keeps building. A 2023 systematic review published in Frontiers in Nutrition analyzed multiple randomized controlled trials and found that vitamin K supplementation significantly slowed the progression of calcium buildup in artery walls. In plain English, arteries stayed softer, longer, in people who had enough K2. Most seniors never connect this to that. The stiffness in your leg arteries, the reduced blood return from your lower body, is not just about narrow vessels. It's about hard vessels. And K2 in the MK7 form is the key that activates the one protein that can start reversing that. Now, here's why MK7 specifically, and not MK4, the other form of K2 you might see on a label. Imagine two workers. One shows up for 2 hours and disappears. The other stays on shift for 3 days straight. MK4 is the 2-hour worker. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that after 24 hours, MK4 was often undetectable in the bloodstream. MK7 levels stayed elevated, still working, for days. That means MK7 is continuously pulling calcium out of your artery walls, hour after hour, day after day. That's the form you need. And there's one more piece of research I need you to hear about K2. A randomized clinical trial published in JAMA Internal Medicine in 2024 studied older adults with nocturnal leg cramps. After 8 weeks of K2 supplementation, 180 micrograms of MK7, the treatment group's average weekly cramp frequency dropped from 2.6 episodes per week down to less than 1. Duration of cramps shortened. Intensity decreased. This isn't a fringe study. This is JAMA, the same journal your doctor reads. Now, if you are on anticoagulant medication, warfarin, or any blood thinner, this is the part where I need you to pause. Research strongly suggests consulting your prescribing physician before adding K2 to your routine. K2 affects how your body handles clotting factors, and that interaction must be managed by your doctor. Not by me, not by a label, by your doctor. So think about where we are right now. Vitamin 1, niacin in the flushing form, opens the vessels, forces them wider, gets the blood moving again. Vitamin 2, K2 in the MK7 form, removes the calcium that made them stiff, sends the cleanup crew in at night. One opens the pipe, the other cleans the walls. Together, they're doing two things your multivitamin never could. But there's a third piece, and this is the one that ties everything together, the one that most people get completely wrong. Not the vitamin itself, the timing. I want you to drop a letter in the comments right now. If you've been taking a standard multivitamin and trusting it to cover your leg circulation, Drop the letter A. If you've already started buying individual vitamins in specific forms because you knew the multivitamin wasn't enough, drop the letter B. I read every single comment personally. Let me know below. And now here is the part I've been building toward. The third vitamin, the one I call the opening signal. Everything I've told you so far is real, and it matters, but there is something that changes all of it. Something almost no one talks about. And once you understand it, you will never look at your leg circulation the same way again. Vitamin C. You've known about it your entire life. You've been told it's for colds, for your immune system, for scurvy if you're a pirate. But vitamin C does something for your blood vessels that is so fundamental, so essential, that without it, neither the niacin nor the K2 can finish the job. Your blood vessels, every single one of them, from the arteries in your thighs to the tiny capillaries in your toes, are lined with a thin layer of cells. That lining produces a molecule called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the master switch for your blood vessels. Every time your legs need more blood, when you stand up, when you walk, when you climb a step, nitric oxide flips the switch. Open, let the blood through. Without enough nitric oxide, the switch gets stuck, and your legs feel it. Heavy, cold, tired, like the current was cut off halfway down. Research published in the American Heart Association's journal Circulation found that vitamin C improved how blood vessels open the way they're supposed to. And a 2014 meta-analysis published in Atherosclerosis found that the effect of vitamin C on blood vessel function was strongest in people who already had the most damage, meaning the people who needed it most benefited the most. That's seniors over 60. The Linus Pauling Institute in Oregon State University reports that vitamin C protects your vessel lining from damage and increases the availability of nitric oxide, your opening signal, the molecule that tells the blood vessel, relax, open, let blood reach the legs. Here is what nobody told you. The real reason your leg circulation gets worse after 60 isn't just that your vessels narrow. It isn't just that calcium hardens them. It's that your body's production of nitric oxide, the master switch that keeps your blood vessels open, declines dramatically as you age. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association reports that aging is associated with marked impairment of nitric oxide generation. Some estimates suggest that by 60, your body's ability to produce nitric oxide may have dropped by as much as 75% from its peak. 75%. The engine that keeps your vessels open is running out of fuel. And vitamin C, in the right form, at the right time, is that fuel. But here's the detail that changes everything. Nitric oxide production in your body follows a daily rhythm, like the tide. It rises in the morning and peaks in the early afternoon, when you're active, when you're standing, when your legs are under the most demand. By evening, it naturally pulls back. If you take your vitamin C at night, or even late afternoon, you're delivering fuel when the engine has already shut down for the day. Gone, wasted, useless, unless you take it before 5 o'clock. And the form matters here too. Standard ascorbic acid, the cheapest form of vitamin C on every shelf, is like pouring water into a leaky bucket. At higher doses, it creates stomach acidity. For a younger person with strong digestion, some of it still gets through. But after 60, your stomach acid naturally declines. The bucket leaks faster. Research suggests that the liposomal form of vitamin C, wrapped in a protective shell, delivers close to twice as much into your bloodstream compared to the standard tablet form. Think of the liposomal form as a sealed container instead of an open cup. It gets to where it needs to go. The cheap form, most of it never reaches your legs at all. I'm telling you this because nobody else in this space will. The buffered form, calcium ascorbate or magnesium ascorbate, is gentler on your stomach. The liposomal form gets more of it into your blood. Either one is a better choice for seniors over 60 than the standard ascorbic acid sitting in most medicine cabinets right now. Most seniors manage one piece of the puzzle, but they miss the timing of vitamin C, and that gap is exactly what keeps the problem returning. Now, I want you to know something before I give you the exact protocol. What I'm about to share, this is the part of this conversation I've been waiting to reach. Not because it's complicated, because it's simple. And simplicity, when it comes after real understanding, is the most powerful thing I can give you. If you've been struggling with cold feet, heavy legs, numbness that creeps in at night, and you felt like you were doing everything right and nothing was changing, I want you to hear this clearly. That was never your fault. You were working with incomplete information. Every bottle you bought, every morning you lined up your pills, every time you hoped this month would be different, that was you trying. And you deserve an answer that actually works. There are 3 things I want you to do, and discuss each one with your doctor before starting. The first one, niacin, the flushing form, nicotinic acid. That's the word you look for on the back of the bottle. Research suggests starting at the lower end of the range and building up gradually. Your doctor can help you find the right level for your body. Take it with a meal, a real meal, not a handful of crackers. And when that flush comes, that warmth in your face and arms, remember what it means. It means your blood vessels are responding. It means the door is opening. The second one, and this one surprises most seniors, vitamin K2, the MK7 form specifically. Look for the word menaquinone 7 on the label. Take it with a meal that has some fat in it. An egg, a piece of cheese, a few nuts, because it's fat soluble. Your body can't absorb it without fat. And if you're on blood thinners, you talk to your prescribing doctor before you add this one. That conversation is non-negotiable. And the third one, the one I see people miss the most, vitamin C. The buffered or liposomal form, not the cheap ascorbic acid tablets. Research suggests a meaningful amount taken in the morning, with breakfast, and if you take a second serving, with lunch or early afternoon. Before 5 o'clock. That timing is not optional. That is when your body's nitric oxide system is running, and that is when the vitamin C can actually fuel it. Before I let you go, there is one more thing, and this might be the most important part of everything I've said today. Hydration. If you are not drinking enough water, and research suggests that most adults over 60 are chronically underhydrated, your body cannot dissolve, absorb, or deliver any of these 3 vitamins effectively. All 3 depend on adequate hydration to reach your legs. The niacin can't trigger vasodilation if the blood is too thick to move. The K2 can't travel to the artery walls if there isn't enough fluid volume to carry it. And the vitamin C can't fuel nitric oxide production if your cells are dehydrated. Think of water as the river that carries all 3 vitamins where they need to go. Without the river, the vitamins just sit there. So before you buy a single bottle, before you change a single thing, make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. That one habit can multiply the effect of everything I just told you. I told you at the beginning that there's a single mechanism that determines whether any vitamin you take for your legs actually works. A vitamin can only help your legs if it survives digestion in the correct form, enters the bloodstream in a state your body can actually use, and reaches the specific tissue that needs it. After 60, stomach acid declines, absorption narrows, and the delivery path gets thinner. That is why the form of each vitamin matters more than the dose. The flushing form of niacin works because it opens vessels immediately. The MK7 form of K2 works because it stays in circulation for days, pulling calcium out hour after hour. The liposomal or buffered form of vitamin C works because it gets past the stomach barrier that destroys the cheap form. And adequate hydration is the river that carries all three to your legs. After 60, your legs don't need more supplements. They need the right three in the right forms at the right time. And now you know exactly what they are. These three vitamins, niacin, K2, and vitamin C, in the exact forms I just described, are what research suggests your legs need after 60. Not 12 supplements, not 20, 3. But now that you know how to open your blood vessels and keep them flexible, there is something else happening in your lower body that can undo all of this. It has nothing to do with vitamins. It has to do with a mineral your body has been quietly losing for decades, one that directly controls whether your leg muscles cramp, weaken, or give out. And unless you address it, even the best circulation protocol will only get you halfway there. I cover exactly what that mineral is, and 7 bedtime fixes that can drain the swelling from your feet overnight in the next video.